Space was silent. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of something terrible. An entire alien fleet floated in the dark. Their ships were broken apart, burned and hollow. No voices came from them, no distress signals, no survivors. The battle had ended only a few hours ago, but already the mercenary networks were filled with rumors. Someone whispered in the smoke-filled bars of space stations, "The humans were here." Those words alone made hardened mercenaries shiver. For centuries, alien empires had hired mercenaries to fight their wars. They always thought humans were small, weak, and desperate. They called Earth's people Deathworlders as an insult, saying humans only survived by luck. But after today's battlefield, that insult sounded like truth. No alien army survived when humans appeared. Not any more. In the shadows of the wreckage, a small mercenary ship drifted near the ruined fleet. Its captain, a scarred reptilian warrior named Korvac, watched the screens with wide eyes. He had been hired to study what happened, to count the dead, and to see if any survivors remained. He found none. "Thousands of warships," he muttered, his voice shaking. "All destroyed, not even bodies." One of his crew whispered from behind, "Captain, who could do this?" Korvac's claws tightened on the armrest. He already knew the answer, but he didn't want to say it. Finally, in a low voice, he spoke the name every mercenary feared: humans. Back on the Mercenary Guild station, news traveled fast. Hollow screens flickered, showing images of burning alien warships, their metal torn apart as if by invisible knives, in the dark corners of the guild hall. Mercenaries argued. "They say it wasn't a fleet," one alien hissed, his eyes wide. "Not even an army, just humans. Special ops soldiers." "Lies," another snapped, though his voice lacked confidence. No small group could destroy a fleet that size. But the first mercenary leaned closer, whispering like a ghost telling a curse. "Then where are the survivors? Where are the prisoners? Tell me that." Silence fell over the hall. No one had answers. In the galaxy, wars usually left survivors captives. Wounded soldiers, or at least wreckage that could be rebuilt. But when humans fought, nothing was left. The special ops didn't just win battles. They erased them, and that was why mercenaries were beginning to fear their own contracts. Korvac sat in his quarters, replaying the battlefield footage. His ship had captured a single message, carved into the metal of a destroyed alien cruiser. It was short, written in human letters. "We were here." No name, no banner, no mercy. Korvac turned off the screen and sat in silence. He was old. He had fought many wars, but he had never seen something like this. Whole armies were useless against shadows that moved like humans. He whispered to himself, "If the guild pays me 1,000 lifetimes of credits, I still won't fight them." Far away, in a hidden human base, a squad of special ops soldiers sat inside their dark dropship. They wore black armor, their faces covered, their weapons quiet. No cheers, no celebration. Just calm voices reporting their mission. "Target neutralized," one soldier said. "Fleet destroyed," another replied. "No survivors," a third confirmed. The commander gave a simple nod. "Good. Prepare for extraction." There was no joy, no anger, no fear. They were professionals. They were ghosts. In the mercenary halls, fear spread like fire. Bounties were posted. 50 million credits for the head of a single human special ops soldier. But no one stepped forward to accept. "Are you mad?" One mercenary barked. "No money is worth it. You don't hunt humans. Humans hunt you." Even the bravest killers refused. They had fought beasts, machines, and empires. But against special ops, against soldiers who left no survivors, it was suicide. Across the galaxy, alien rulers screamed in anger. They demanded answers. Why do our mercenaries run? Why are armies defeated? The reply came in fearful whispers. Because no alien army survives humanity's special ops. Asterisk, the mercenary guild station floated above a dying star, a fortress of steel where killers, smugglers, and soldiers for hire gathered. Normally, it was loud music, shouting, laughter, the sound of weapons being traded. But today it was silent. Every screen in the main hall showed the same images. Wreckage of an alien fleet, black smoke rising in space, and the carved words left behind. We were here. No one needed to ask who had written it. Everyone knew. Humans dot at the bar. A giant insectoid mercenary slammed his claw against the counter. This is madness, he hissed. A dozen human shadows cannot erase entire armies. But no one agreed. Mercenaries looked down into their drinks, too afraid to speak. Some even removed their weapons and set them aside, as if carrying arms might invite the humans' attention. In the center of the hall, a holoscreen flickered to life. The Guildmaster, an ancient alien with scales like stone, announced new contracts. His voice was heavy and slow. 3 empires have offered payment, he said. Fight the humans. Capture one of their special ops alive. Deliver them to us. The amount of credits flashed across the screen. It was enough to buy entire planets. Normally, mercenaries would be fighting each other to accept such a reward. But this time, the hall stayed silent. Not one hand rose. Finally, a young mercenary stood. He was slim, with sharp ears and eyes full of ambition. I'll take the contract, he said, his voice trembling but proud. Every mercenary in the room turned to stare at him. Some shook their heads. One old veteran laughed bitterly. Child, the veteran said, do you know what you're asking for? You are not chasing soldiers. You are chasing death itself. The young mercenary smirked. You're all cowards. Humans bleed like anyone else. And if no one else dares, I will become the one who does. But no one clapped. No one cheered. Instead, the room grew colder. The mercenaries looked at him the way they might look at a man walking into his own grave. Hours later, in a shadowed corner of the guild, the veteran who had spoken followed the boy. His name was Roth, scarred from 100 battles. He placed a heavy hand on the boy's shoulder. Listen to me. I once fought them. I survived only because I ran. Do you want to hear what I saw? The boy hesitated, then nodded. Roth's single quotes S voice lowered to a whisper. It was night on the planet. My squad was inside a fortress. We thought we were safe. Then the lights went out. One by one, my men disappeared. No screams, no gunfire, just silence. When the lights returned, I was alone. They didn't kill me because they wanted someone left to spread fear. His hands shook as he spoke. Do you understand? They don't just fight battles. They fight minds. They want us to fear them before we even see them. The young mercenary tried to laugh, but the sound was weak. Stories, nothing more. But inside, doubt had already started to eat him. The guildmaster gathered his captains in a private chamber. Around the table sat killers from 100 worlds giants. Machines, shapeshifters. All of them powerful. All of them silent. Why will no one fight? The guildmaster demanded, his voice echoing. No one answered. Finally, one mercenary spoke. Because no alien army survived. We know what happens. You send us, and none of us come back. The guildmaster growled. Then we are useless. Without contracts, we are nothing. The captains exchanged glances. None of them wanted to admit it, but the truth was clear. The mercenary guild, feared for centuries, was breaking apart, not from war, but from fear of humans. Back in the main hall, rumors spread like poison. I heard they can see in the dark. I heard they never sleep. No, I heard they laugh when they're shot. Each rumor was worse than the last. And though no one knew which were true, no one dared test them. A mercenary whispered to another, "We fight monsters, machines, empires, but humans? They fight like they want to erase us." That night, the young mercenary who had accepted the contract left the station. His ship vanished into the black. Some said he was brave. Others said he was already dead. In the bar, Roth drank in silence, staring into the glass. He could almost hear the human voice again, calm and cold, speaking from the shadows of his memory. The guild's halls were empty now. Most mercenaries had left, taking smaller jobs, anything that did not involve humans. But one contract still remained on the board and glowing. Capture a human special ops soldier, alive. The reward was enough to buy an empire. But no one wanted it, no one. Except one. His name was Drex, a young mercenary with sharp teeth and ambition burning in his eyes. He wanted fame. He wanted his name written in history. To him, fear was only weakness. "I will take the contract," Drex declared to the guildmaster. His voice was proud, but his hands shook. The guildmaster studied him with old, heavy eyes. "Do not confuse courage with foolishness," he said. But Drex only smiled. "When I return with a captured human, the galaxy will remember my name." Drex's ship, the Black Fang, left the station and followed the trail of wreckage left behind by the last human strike. His scanners picked up faint signals, a destroyed base on a barren moon. "No survivors, no life signs. Perfect," Drex whispered. "If they were here once, they may return." The moon's surface was a graveyard. Broken towers jutted from the ground like bones. Black scorch marks scarred the stone. Inside the ruins, Drex and his squad walked carefully, weapons ready. Air was too quiet. No wind, no echo. Even their own footsteps sounded strange, as if swallowed by the shadows. One of his men whispered, "Captain, I don't like this." "Silence," Drex snapped. "Stay sharp. If humans come, we strike fast." Hours passed, nothing moved. No sign of life. But then faint scratches on the wall caught Drex's eye. Human letters, carved deep into the stone. "We were here." His men froze. "Captain," one muttered, "this is a warning. We should leave?" But Drex laughed nervously. "It's only words. They want us to be afraid. But we are hunters, not prey." Night fell on the moon. His squad set camp inside the ruins, but the silence was suffocating. The men stayed close together, weapons shaking in their hands. One by one, the lights in their helmets flickered. First the rookie. His light blinked, then vanished. When the others turned, he was gone. No scream, no struggle, just gone. Panic hit the squad. Where did he go? Find him. But only darkness answered. Another light flickered. Another soldier vanished. Silence again. Drex's heart pounded. He aimed his rifle at every shadow, but the shadows did not move. "Show yourself," he screamed into the night. His voice echoed across the ruins, and then he heard it. A calm human voice, close and cold. Target neutralized. One by one, his squad disappeared. No blood, no noise. Only the sound of boots moving in the dark. Drex fired wildly, energy blasts lighting up the ruins. For a moment, he thought he saw shapes, figures in black armor, faces hidden, eyes glowing faintly. But as soon as the light faded, the shadows swallowed them again. He was alone, breathing hard. Drex stumbled back toward his ship. The wreckage loomed like a grave. His hands shook so badly, he dropped his weapon. When he finally reached the Black Fang, the ramp was already lowered. Relief filled his chest until he realized something was wrong. The ship was too quiet. He stepped inside. His crew was gone. Every chair empty. Every console dead. On the main screen, Words glowed in human script. We were here. Drex collapsed. To his knees, terror crushing him. He understood now why no alien army survived. Humans did not fight like soldiers. They fought like shadows, like ghosts, like nightmares made real. And the worst part? They wanted him alive. From the darkness of the ship, a hand touched his shoulder. A calm voice spoke. Mission complete. Package secured. Then everything went black. Later, in the Mercenary Guild station, rumors spread again. They said a young mercenary had gone after humans. He never came back. But sometimes, in the dark corners of the guild, mercenaries swore they could still hear his voice begging them not to take the contract. Asterisk long before the galaxy feared them, the humans trained. In silence. On Earth, in the forests, deserts, frozen wastelands, and deep oceans, they built warriors. Not armies. Ghosts. The aliens had always thought Earth was only a death world, a cursed place where weak creatures barely survived. But they never understood. Death worlds do not make weaklings. Death worlds make hunters. In a forgotten archive. Hidden deep in an alien research vault, a scientist stared at old human footage. His name was Veller, one of the few who dared to study humans instead of avoiding them. On the glowing screen, he saw them running through burning jungles, crawling across icy mountains, swimming through black oceans filled with predators. He saw them fight storms, hunger, and their own fear. But what shocked him most was their faces. They were smiling. Impossible, Veller whispered. They suffer, and yet they laugh. He dug deeper. More recordings. A group of humans, their bodies, covered in mud, moving silently through a forest. Not one snapped twig. Not one sound. Predators 10 times their size walked past them without ever knowing they were there. Veller's hands shook. This is no army. This is something else. Back in the Mercenary Guild station, rumors still grew about Drex the young fool who vanished after accepting the contract. The Guildmaster called Veller to explain. You are the only one who studies them, the Guildmaster growled. Tell me what they are. Tell me why my soldiers vanish without sound. Veller looked around the room of mercenary captains. All of them killers. All of them afraid. Slowly he spoke. Humans are not soldiers in the way you understand. They are not trained only for war. They are trained for survival. From birth, their planet is their weapon. Every forest, every desert, every ocean, it forged them. One captain laughed bitterly. Survival? Survival does not destroy entire fleets. Veller's eyes narrowed. You are wrong. Survival creates hunters who never stop. Do you know what they call their special ops? Ghosts, because when they move, no one sees them. No one survives them. The room fell silent. Vel, or showed one final clip. A special ops squad in black armor, moving through a ruined city. The enemies had tripwires, scanners, drones. But the humans slipped through everything. They struck only once. And when they left, the city was silent. The last frame froze on the screen. A human soldier turning toward the camera, face hidden, visor glowing faint blue. Beneath it, human words were scratched. We were here. The captains shifted uncomfortably. One of them whispered, So, they leave the message on purpose? Veller nodded. Yes, it is not only victory, it is terror. They want the galaxy to remember them, even when they are gone. The Guildmaster clenched his fists. Then how do we fight ghosts? Veller's answer was quiet. You don't. Far away, on a hidden human base carved into an asteroid, special ops soldiers prepared for their next mission. Their armor was scarred, their weapons clean, their movements precise. They said nothing. They needed no orders. Every man and woman already knew their role. The commander, an older soldier with lines carved deep into his face, spoke only once. The galaxy still doesn't understand. They think they are chasing soldiers. But we are Earth, and Earth remembers everything. The soldiers gave no cheers, no salutes. They simply vanished into the dark, their dropships moving without a sound. Meanwhile, Vela returned to his private quarters. His hands still shook from what he had seen. He stared into the darkness, his voice trembling. "They are not monsters," he whispered. "They are worse. They are human." Outside his window, the stars flickered. Somewhere out there, the ghosts of Earth were already moving. Another fleet would fall. Another contract would end in silence. Asterisk? The Guildmaster had enough. His reputation was collapsing. Mercenaries were leaving. And every whisper in the galaxy now carried the same name: humans. "This ends now," he declared. For the first time, the Guild called every surviving captain to one plan: a trap in the void. A massive derelict ship was placed as bait, floating between two dead stars. Inside, hundreds of mercenaries waited. Mines circled the area. Energy nets hung invisible across the void. Cloaked drones covered every angle. "If humans come," the Guildmaster growled, "they will not leave." The mercenaries waited in silence. Days passed. Some laughed nervously. Others kept cleaning weapons. But all of them felt the same tension. If the ghosts came, they would finally see them. On the third night, it began. A small human dropship appeared on the scanners. It moved slowly, almost casually, as if it didn't care about the trap. The mercenaries smiled. Finally, the ghosts. Walk into the cage. The nets closed. Mines locked on. Hundreds of weapons aimed. The dropship didn't move. Didn't fire. Didn't flee. Fire! The Guildmaster shouted. The void exploded with light mines detonating, lasers cutting, missiles tearing the little ship apart. When the smoke cleared, only burning fragments floated in the darkness. The mercenaries cheered. Some shouted, "The ghosts bleed after all." But their celebration ended quickly, because the wreckage was empty. No bodies, no armor, nothing. Only a small piece of steel, floating in the dark. Words scratched into it. We were here. Inside the derelict ship, panic spread fast. Tricked us. It was a decoy. Where are they now? The Guildmaster shouted for silence, but before he could finish, the lights flickered. One section of the ship went black. Then another. Then another. The mercenaries scrambled, shouting, shooting shadows. Drones spun in circles, detecting nothing. But in the blackness, boots moved. Quiet, precise, closer. One mercenary fired wildly into the dark. His shots cut through steel walls, but no target appeared. Then his throat was silently cut, his body pulled into the shadows. "Contact!" someone screamed. But by the time they turned, 5 more were already gone. The Guildmaster's command. Rune shook with noise. "Seal the doors. Flood the corridors with gas." But when the gas hissed through the vents, the monitors showed only empty halls. The humans were already gone. Or worse, they had never been there. Panic took over. Mercenaries abandoned positions, trying to reach the escape pods. Some never made it. Pods launched, scattering into space. One by one, the pods blinked red on the screen. Then silence. The Guildmaster stared. All the pods had gone dark. Not destroyed, not tracked, just gone. In the command room, Vela the scientist stood frozen, his face pale. "You don't understand," he whispered. "They never fight where you are strong. They fight where you are afraid." The Guildmaster roared. "Then where are they now?" As if answering, the main screen flickered. A human figure appeared, face hidden by a dark visor. The voice was calm, steady. "Your track was clever, but fear is the real cage. And you built it for yourselves. The screen went black. The mercenaries. Inside, the derelict heard movement behind them. Doors sliding. Steps echoing. Whispers in a language they didn't know, but somehow understood. One mercenary cried out, "They're already inside. They've been inside since the start." The guildmaster slammed his fists down, rage hiding his fear. "Fight! Fight! Damn you!" But even as he shouted, the ship's lights died completely. And in that endless black, only one thing remained: breathing. Not theirs. Human. Hours later, the derelict ship drifted silently. No signals. No survivors. A scavenger vessel passed by days later, curious. They scanned the wreck, but dared not approach. On the outer hull, burned deep into the steel, 2 words. Glowed faintly in the dark. Pasterisk. The galaxy waited. News of the derelict ship spread faster than light. Hundreds of mercenaries gone. No bodies. No wreckage. Only 2 words carved into steel. We were here. Now even the boldest captains refused contracts against humans. Whole fleets disbanded. The guild, once feared above empires, was crumbling. But the galaxy still asked one question. Why do humans fight like this? What do they want? In the High Council of the Orvain Empire, leaders argued. Some demanded war, others begged for peace. A few wanted to erase Earth from history. But all of them feared the same thing. If the ghosts wanted, they could strike anyone. That was when it happened. Across every screen, every starship console, every datapad in the galaxy static flickered. Lights dimmed. Signals died. And then a single broadcast replaced them all. At first, only darkness. Then a figure stepped forward. A human. Armor black as night. Visor glowing faint blue. The voice was calm, steady, unshaken. "We know you hear us. We know you watch. For centuries, you thought we were gone. You thought your mercenaries could silence Earth. You were wrong." The council chambers froze. Every empire, every mercenary. Then, every station in the galaxy listened. The figure continued. "You ask what we are. We are not soldiers. We are survival. We are Earth itself. You tried to bury us under ash, but ash only feeds the fire." Behind the figure, faint shapes moved. Other soldiers in the shadows, their armor gleaming. They were everywhere, watching, listening. The human raised a gloved hand. On the screen behind him, images appeared. A mercenary fleet burning in silence. A warlord's fortress empty, its banners torn. An entire guild base, dark and lifeless. Each image bore the same mark. We were here. Gasps echoed through alien councils. Some covered their faces. Others shouted in fear. A few whispered. Prayers. The voice cut through their panic. You send armies, we erase them. You send hunters, they vanish. You build traps, we turn them into graves. Do you understand now? The silence across the galaxy was heavier than any weapon. Finally, the figure leaned closer. His voice dropped lower, sharper. We do not seek conquest. We do not seek tribute. But if you send mercenaries to our world, if you raise arms against Earth again, know this, the screen flashed. For one heartbeat, the galaxy saw Earth itself, glowing blue, storms swirling, oceans raging, mountains jagged and sharp. A death world, a birthplace of hunters. You will not survive. And then the broadcast ended. Every console returned to normal, but no one moved. No one spoke. In that silence, leaders of entire empires realized something terrifying. It wasn't only fleets that died in the void. It wasn't only mercenaries who vanished in shadows. It was fear itself spreading, faster than war, faster than light. In the ruined guild station, Vela the scientist sat alone, watching the empty contracts board. His hands shook, but his heart understood. Not monsters, he whispered. Not conquerors. Humans are reminders, ghosts of survival, proof that death worlds make legends.